The world won't understand you. Hey, but it's okay. Said the world won't understand you, 'cause I made you in my own way. Said the world won't understand you, 'cause I made you.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I wanted to make this video about 216. Um, I'll make it episode 109. So welcome everybody to episode 109. It's not gonna be that long of a video. I just wanted to talk real quick about 216. I feel it's time. I've obviously already written the book. I've made videos about it, but now, I just did the conference, right? So let me start with that. I did the conference on my birthday, Sunday, right? Uh, I was honored. It was a beautiful conference, right? 2 days long with tons of speakers, right? So many speakers with so much knowledge, and I was honored to be able to, have that space to share about my experience with 216. And that's what I think. It was like I had been being pushed lately to share about it, you know, a little more openly, if that makes sense. Because when I wrote the book, it was more like, okay, there, I did my job. I thought even at the time when I wrote the book, then I did the audiobook and all that, um, that was it. That was like out of all the things I've done in life, for some reason, I felt like, okay, that's why I came. That's why I came, into this existence to show this. And the reason I felt it was so important was because even when I wrote the book, I think I kind of left a lot of it for the reader to try to figure out, right? And I'll share why also, because on 6/6 was my brother's birthday, right? 6/6 was my brother's birthday, and then mine was 6/9, right? Obviously, like I've shared, that's part of the reasons why everything affected me so much, right? But on 6/6, right, this was the first time it had been the 5-year anniversary of my brother not being here on his birthday, right? And so that day, I spent the day with my parents. We went to the cemetery, and that day, there was things. There was all kinds of signs. All this stuff happened. Um, so it was obvious. I don't know. My mom was more open, probably. So I just went ahead and something told me to share. Right, I started opening up to her about this whole thing, right, that had happened to me, the whole 216. And as I'm talking a little bit, starting to share, kind of about all the stuff, like the agreement, this and that, everything that I was shown because of the 216, I felt right away, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop talking because I don't want you to cry. And then she tells me, she's like, how did you know I was gonna cry? You weren't even looking at me. And then she just breaks down crying like bad. So I was like, oh, I'm an a-hole, right? I was like, and I felt horrible because I saw, yeah, it's a lot of information to grasp, right? Like everything I was shown because of this, right? But it was nice to have that space. I think I was trying to make myself even have more comfort in sharing this, right? Even maybe a month ago or so, I was working on a job, and I opened up to someone on set because, it looked like they were someone with an open mind, and I'm not sure if they grasped everything, but I was like, wow, and I literally told them that I'm gonna be giving a speech about this at a conference, so I might as well start getting used to really explaining to people. So let me break it down overall what it is. Even during the conference, these are people, people with PhDs, people with this and that, from NDEs to just having all the experiences that so many of us have that are already walking the spiritual walk, right? From out of body experiences to they're calling them STEs, right? Which is like spiritually transformative experiences, I believe. That was the term for it, right? And Dr. Yvonne Cason was the one that invited me to share, and she's had like 5 NDEs, I believe she said, and this and that. So, there's all these people on there, but I even heard some of these people talk about how when they come across the skeptic and people, and to me it was like mind blowing because I know that that's what the 216 is, right? And I guess I was trying to be humble in a way, but I feel like the spirit world is now telling me like, okay, enough. Now we say what it is, right? And so basically with my 216 book, what I'm showing without any doubt, like, so no one will ever have to deal with that again, right? That 100% without any doubt that it's proof, right? That life continues after death or this physical death. It's proof that there's communication from the other side. It's proof that this is all creation and there's a creator. It's proof of past lives. So in this book, what I showed, and because that was part of my agreement to show that, right? That it's not a theory anymore. So if any scientists were to still be talking about like, oh, the theory of this and that and that and this, here I am. I put all this evidence, overwhelming amounts of evidence into this book to show that it's not a theory anymore. So enough with that. I don't know why now is the time. If anything, I wouldn't know why now was the time. Maybe because the information age, right? Right now that we could communicate across the world, boom, boom, boom. Information's at our fingertips. We have it on the phone, literally at our fingertips. And that's why, I explain in the book how even when I was shown by this ancient man, how, there were books all over and we were putting all these pieces together. And that's why it had to come together now, because had it been 30 years ago, that's why so the reason I'm also making this video is because I'm going to upload my audiobook, right? To anyone that had bought it, thank you. Like, I'm grateful to death, right? But I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to, because it was funny. I was even up in the mountains and I was already like, whatever. It was a download, right? Like, oh, after the conference, now that you're going to be comfortable speaking about it, uh, that's the largest crowd I've spoken in front of, even if it was virtual, right? Um, Once I did that, it was like, okay, the cat's out of the bag. So there's no turning back now. So I might as well, upload the audiobook. Um, and when even that, I was in the mountain, I was like, maybe I should make and I said it out loud, right? I was like, maybe I should make like a membership, on YouTube, how people have the memberships, and then anyone that joins as a member will have the audiobook or access to the audiobook. And right as I was saying that, a little bug flew in my, and I was like, and I was like trying to spit it out. So I'm like, fine, I get it. I'm gonna put it out I'm gonna upload it on freaking YouTube, and whoever sees it on there is gonna see it on there. So, it's funny, right? But that's how the spirit world works with me. So, it was just comedy, right? But anyway, so that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna upload the audiobook but before I upload the audiobook, I wanted people to watch this so they could understand what it means, right? Because even during the book, I love the innocence of the book because I was still learning, and I wrote it in real time. And I say that, right? Everything, all the pieces were coming together um as I was writing the book. So I'm like, oh, now I found this. And then even when I added the extra chapters, then when I added the extra stuff on the audiobook, which you'll hear, but I still hadn't even had all the information that I have now, right? And even that, right? The day before the presentation, the number never stops. So first, even the day after my brother's birthday, which was 6/6, the next day, I hadn't driven my car. And the next day, when I turn on my car, the miles I had left to drive said 216, and the temperature was 6/6, which is my brother's birthday and my brother's departure date, which there were other things that have came up like that I talk about in the book, right? So I was like, okay, fine, boom, the 2/6. Like, I was like, dude, like, there's no way, right? Like, you have a better chance of winning the lottery. Then the next day, I went out to the beach, and when I was driving home, this kind of car I had never seen before, looked like a police car, but then when it passed by me, I had never seen it. Was like those weird security kind of cars that are made to look like a police car, but with different colors and all this stuff. And it said like, I don't know if it's a safety emergency or something like that. But then it had a 216 on it. The car number was 216. So I was like, dude, okay, fine. I don't know what maybe the emergency that there is time to talk about it. That's kind of how I took it. So that's why it's like, okay, there. I even what was it? Not the day of the conference. I think yesterday. I was telling a friend, or the day before, right? Maybe the day of the conference. I don't even know. But I told the friend, that listening to Billy Carson and Terrence Howard had inspired me to want to talk about it on a bigger platform now. Because yeah, I had no idea. I knew who Billy Carson was, and I had heard a lot of videos from him and everything. But I had never heard his story about losing everything, like losing his family when he said he had his visitation, and that his kids were scared of him. His wife even one day just stopped the car and like said, "I can't do this anymore." And that's how it is, right? It is. You do feel like scared and this and that, but obviously to me, it's like I've been through so many things in life that this is like nothing really, right? And the fact that I have proof is even better, right? Um, so I had said how Billy Carson and Terrence Howard, because now he's talking about all this stuff and that he remembers being in the womb and all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? And I had actually messaged them. I think like right near the beginning of when I had started the podcast, or right after he gave whenever he gave his speech, right? I think I ended up seeing his speech that he gave at one of the universities. And after that, I reached out. I sent him a message, but obviously he never replied. I think he has, I don't know, maybe a couple million followers, and he didn't see obviously my message, right? But I had invited him because people at that point were still kind of um mocking him from what I read, like in comments and stuff. But on the Joe Rogan show when he came out recently, that's when I was like, okay, it's time for me to be more open about this as well. Or I felt like the universe was pushing me, right? So I'm saying all that to say that I told a friend that Billy Carson and Terrence Howard had inspired me, and then the very next day, I don't know, I turned on my computer on YouTube, and then it said that the episode from Billy Carson on Joe Rogan had been 2160. So there was a 216 again. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, so for me, it's a daily thing, but I already said how, like that. It's for me, I've shown how it's evidence of in my life, I co-created with, the creator, right? Like to show people that's been my purpose, right? There's nothing glamorous about it, right? It's not nothing that, to in case anyone will be like, well, why you or anything like that, right? I don't know. Because I volunteered. I think that's it. I interviewed which oddly enough, his birthday was 6/6 as well. Zach, I think, I don't know if he would see this, but I would say happy birthday to him anyways. Happy belated birthday, right? But Zach, who I interviewed, who had an NDE, he said I think the first time his first NDA, I don't know how many he's had, but when he went to the other side, how they showed him, right, that it wasn't nothing like, oh, this or that. It was just that they said, hey, who wants to go do this? And he volunteered. All right, boom. Hey, here's your tickets to Earth. You're going to go do this, right? So, the fact that it's so intertwined with my brother, though, right? Like us together, like working as a team, uh, with also the creator and all of these beings that we worked with to bring this knowledge. I don't know why it's the time to show people that. I guess maybe because it is going to bring an end to the fear mongering, right? People can't hold those things over you of like, oh, you're going to burn in hell or this and that. Not to say there's not an accountability from what I've seen, right? What I've been shown. But like all that stuff about how they hold people, or even that, how they even say how with certain cultures, they'll trick someone into doing something, horrendous in the name of, hey, well, this is, we got the keys to the afterlife. So if you want to go to heaven, you got to do this or that or that or this, right? So, um, for some reason, yeah, they wanted me to share this knowledge. Let me see if there's anything I wanted. Oh yeah, so even that, right? Like right after the conference, I don't know where something happened with my birthday, right? There was something where I seen my birthday number, and it had to do with like and it had to do with cause that, right? When you see your birthday, it's as an angel number, it's kind of like showing you that this is your path, right? Because even there were times when I went back to music that I was seeing my birthday and I was like, because I was even like, why am I doing this again, right? Like I've been through this rodeo with the music, but I was thinking in terms of like, well, I know it's not like, oh, I'm not gonna hit it big or something, but it always was important, right? Whenever I have done music, it was important either just to me or whoever a song was gonna reach, right? And at that moment when I saw my birthday, it's like you're fulfilling your life purpose, right? So that's kind of what I know. My birthday was popping up with this whole or just the fact the conference, yeah, the fact that the conference I ended up speaking about this 216 on my birthday out of all days. Yeah, so that was the whole thing. I was like, okay, so obviously this is the path I'm meant to be on right now, right? Um, and I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else, just that, right? I'm gonna put the audiobook again. Like I said, when I wrote the audiobook, I love the innocence that I was still trying to figure things out. Since then, I've seen so many things, right? I've literally had and it wasn't even a vision, like a memory about like me seeing this construction of and I've mentioned it in interviews already. So in case anyone hasn't seen all that and they look at me crazy, like I've seen so many ancient things now in memories, right? Um, and I even had a warning. There was someone I dealt with, that I met, and when I dealt with them, I want to give this person a hug, like when you're saying bye or whatever, or hi, or I don't know. And when I want to give this person a hug, boom, I saw like this memory of us in an ancient temple. And we didn't look like beings from here. And as I was watching, this person was behind me, but it looked like they had a knife in their back. I'm like hidden, right? Like a knife. Like, I don't know, like they were about to backstab me or kill me, literally. And then this person ended up doing some crazy stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like, did this cycle really repeat? Like, this is insane, right? So there was a time when I started seeing a lot of these ancient memories, right? And it's crazy if we would have to relive things from our ancient past, right? From ancient past, but yeah. So anyways, all that aside, just to say, like have had so many visions now since I finished the books and since I finished the audio book that I would have probably taken it in a different direction. So I'm so glad that I just wrote it and it is what it is now that I have a whole lot more understanding of my journey and being able to show this to humanity, really, that the life does continue, right? We do have past lives, we do, and this is beyond evidence. So anyone just being, I guess, stubborn would it's fine. But at this point, like any scientist that would see the amount of evidence I've shown, really can't deny it unless they're just being like, stubborn, right? That's it. So I think there shouldn't ever be a question anymore about is, life after death? Is this a creation? Um, I just don't know what we're supposed to do with that, right? I think maybe because showing that knowledge, it's it's like we could co-create something better. That's what I get from it, right? Because to me it doesn't matter. And I'll end this because I know I'm just talking. I really just wanted to say, hey, I'm gonna upload the audiobook if anyone wants to check it out, blah blah. And I just wanted to talk about like why it was so hard for me to talk about before. Like I said, even that, right? Like trying to tell my mom and she breaks down. Like it's a lot of information for someone to grasp. And I saw that even with regular. Shoot, I feel like that was my little confirmation, right? When I was saying that, well, it's a lot of information for some people to grasp. But anyways, so that's why I think it was always hard for me to just really go in. And I was taking a more humble approach, but now it's like this represents, right? It's about that there is no theory anymore. Like I've proven, so many others have before as well, but I don't know if anyone has had such a long list of evidence to show the communication because, like I said, it all started with communication from these higher beings, right? And then obviously, then showing that me and my brother had already intertwined all of this, like as an agreement or whatever with even the creator, God. It went back thousands of years, all this and that, right? So the audiobook will be up. I forgot what else I was gonna say, but even just talking about this stuff like tires me out sometimes. It's exhausting because, you know, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I never cared about proving anything to anyone. So for me, it didn't matter, right? But since I was guided by the universe, I'm doing what I was guided to do. But like for me, it's even in the book, right in the beginning of the book, I think in my first chapter or something, I talk about the time I asked, like one of the few times that I actually asked, okay, if you show me this, I'll believe you forever. And I was shown. After that, there was no doubt, right? I was like, okay, cool. So from then on, I didn't need nothing. I didn't have to ask for any signs, nothing like that, right? I asked one time, they showed me, and then it was on from there, right? I was like, hey, like, I asked God a very specific question, and I got a very specific answer, and that was it, right? So I'll end it with that. I'll put the link to the audiobook in this video. I know I babbled a lot, but hey, I haven't made a video in a while. Also, I'm gonna have more lives and all that stuff. It's just been busy, right? I started writing a new book, so even that, not writing a new book. I think I shared. I don't know if it was on IG, but one day I woke up with all these spirits around me. It's freaky, right? Even all the things that I've gone through, like even all this information that I'm given, and I still got freaked out when all these spirits. But it was clear. I was given a bag of all these old photos. Watch, let me see if I have one handy, right? Like for example, this was well, this is from 1950, but if you see it, like it's pretty cool, right? It's like from 1950. It's a place called Tuxtepec in Oaxaca, and there was this huge flood. But the flood actually happened in 1944. And then I guess my grandpa, he would build dams, he would build bridges, he would do all kinds of things. He's the one that visited me. I started using the name Oh the Architect because my grandpa came to me in a vision, right? And it was one of those real ones where I woke up and I was like, what the? Like it felt like, and it was all telepathic. And when I woke up, it was like, oh, the architect. So that even gave more meaning to all this um 216 stuff, right? And seeing all these things is that the name, right? The title, because it was a title given, right? Uh, but because he was the architect originally, right? Like he would work for like the president of Mexico at one point, what do you call it? You know, send them a letter like thanking him for everything he did because he would build the bridges and dams and all this stuff. See, like even that one, it's a historic thing. If you look it up, the flood in Tuxtepec. Um, so this was like a postcard that my grandpa had sent to my grandma, I believe. It says right there, see 1250. That was from 1950. And there's some all there's like from 1920 something. There's so many pictures. And it's funny because I think that's one of the dams that he was helping build or something. But that's like from the 1950s, right? I don't know. It's like because you could see a lot of these older ones, they're in sepia color, and then the newer ones are black and white, and that's already the 50s. So you see it from the 20s, then from the 30s and 40s. There's cars in there from like the 19 see, and then it's funny because these ones, see, this is I think one of the bridges he was helping build, and it's a black and white thing, but they started painting them with color. And it's funny because even on one of them, they painted over a man's face. They put like the lines of a truck and they painted over the man's face. So it was like, not that it was ghetto, but it was them experimenting with like the new, right? Like, I don't know, who knows? It's probably from the 1930s, 1940s. Though that little thing he was on, it's like I don't know if you could see it, but they would transport trucks sometimes and all that while they were building the bridges. They would put like these things. What was it called? Something with a P. I forgot. But yeah, they would transport like the vehicles across while they were doing the construction of the bridge and all that. So, yeah, damn, I know I wrote it down the name of the thing, but that's the book I'm working on. Long story short, it's like, oh man, I was like a kid in a candy store when I got all these pictures, right? Because even these, I don't know. Like, see, and the reason I'm doing it, see, if you look at all these old pictures, um, it's yeah, like I have to ask my dad while he's still around, hey, who's this in this picture? Who's that in that picture? So it's taking a lot of time. I'm like halfway done, but it's exhausting having to ask, like, hey, who's in this picture? Hey, who's in that picture, right? And trying to be as historically accurate as possible. So I've been working on that book. Just and even scanning all the pictures, right? It's funny because as small as they are, but when it comes out in the computer, it looks amazing. I'm just blown away that that we have that technology now to scan things and this and that, and the street sweepers passing, it's all loud, but yeah, I'll end it with that, right? So So yeah, I'm gonna try to fit in everything with the, like, still do lives, still do videos, but I got so immersed in this book and then the conference and this and that yeah, it distracted me from, doing any more interviews or anything like that. But I'll schedule them soon. So just in case anyone's wondering if I'm still gonna be doing videos and lives and all that, yes, I am. I just I don't know. I feel like I still want to finish this book first, right? This book, but I'll see if I could fit in a few interviews here and there in the meantime while I'm working on the book. And yeah, and that's why I'm even uploading that 216 for anyone that hasn't listened to it. I'm gonna upload the audiobook, so it'll be there. Obviously, the book is good because as you're reading it, you could see like, oh, and then Google it for yourself, right? You could see like, oh, he's talking about this. Let me go Google it. Oh, he's talking about that. Let me go Google it. In the audiobook, I mean, you could rewind it and listen and then whatever, but you could see the spelling of stuff like in the book, right? So if you want to buy the book, I put the links to the book, the physical books as well. And on that note, I'll end it because if not, I'm just gonna keep talking. Thank you all so much. And everybody that went to the conference, I know some people went to the, oh, this is a crazy thing. So damn, talk about crazy. Like I mentioned about on the day of 216 when, I'm just laughing because I keep forgetting things, and then this was cool. Uh, you know, when I was about to speak, or I don't know how much before it, someone, like, I don't know why I was able to see because I was in the host, so I was able to see when someone was coming into the conference and it said like to admit them. But I was like, wow, I don't know, did I get permission since I'm one of the speakers? Maybe I have permission to admit, but I never like clicked. But someone's name jumped out at me because that was the name of the person that was with me on 216. And I've never shared their name with anybody because that wasn't my place to say their name, right? They were the ones that were with me when my brother passed away. And, they were a medium and all this stuff, right? And so their name popped out at me. And then whatever, I give my presentation. And after, I saw them put in the chat that their birthday was 216. So obviously it wasn't that. I don't think that person's birthday was 216. Oh, I know it wasn't because, yeah, they would have told me that day, like, you know, hey, today's my birthday, right? But that wasn't their birthday. But this person that had the same name as the person that was with me on 216, their birthday was 216. I was like, wow, like, you got to be kidding me. So just these synchronicities are always insane. But for me, I showed, of course, it wasn't a synchronicity. For me, it's a pre-planning. Like, it's all, I planned out this whole thing. But I still enjoy in this adventure, right? I'm not showing everything, right? I'm not showing everything. I'm showing the evidence after the fact, right? It's proof. Like they show me, like, you see, look this, look at this, look at this. So I've been shown the proof afterwards, but I don't always get to see like what's coming, right? That's more like in visions or stuff. Then I'll have like, oh, okay, there's something coming or this or that, right? But with that said, I'll leave it there. I just thought that was a cool last thing to share because it was pretty cool. All right, so on that note, I'll stop yapping. This is way longer than what I wanted it to be. All right, peace. Hope you guys are all well.
Life may move fast or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he'd make it slow. We look up out towards space or even at the sky. One that gets away but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze but we'll figure this out. I mean human beings, I ain't got no doubt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever, forever.